Boker Tov, everybody. So this week's parsha is Tavo, and it has three themes in it that I particularly want to highlight for us. First of all, it repeats the law regarding the bikurim, the first fruits offering that the people bring to the temple, or in the case of the Israelites in the desert, they bring it to the Mishkan. But I want to highlight this law for a moment here, because it's not something we really do the same way anymore, because we don't have the Holy Temple to bring the first fruits to, right? But I think it's really important to highlight it, because there are two themes within that I find within this law. The first of which is gratitude, right? Because it shows that when it comes to taking care of a tree or any plant that you take care of, you have only so much that's within your control, right? You can set up the circumstances, you can take care of it, you can sow the seed, you can prune the leaves and the branches and things like that. But when it comes down to it, you don't have control over the rains. You don't always have control of how hard the sun is beating down, right? So these things go back to God in terms of the success of the growing of these trees and of these fruits. So bringing that back to God as that first offering shows a great deal of gratitude that it's borne the fruit after all that care that we took together with God. It's a partnership, right? Then there's also the theme of faith, because in bringing those first fruits, it's showing that we have the faith. These are the first ones that have blossomed, that have grown, and we have the faith that there will be more, right? So we're bringing the first ones to God as a show of faith, and we're trusting that there will be more fruits that we can then enjoy. So we bring it to God first, then we can enjoy them ourselves. And then the other theme that I want to talk about is dignity, the preservation of dignity, because in this week's portion, it talks about leaving the corners of the crop fields for the poor to gather, right? So this is an example of the preservation of dignity, because the poor, they know that those are designated for them, but they have the self-sufficiency to then go and harvest it themselves. So they know it's left for them, but they take on the availability, I mean, of going in there and harvesting it themselves. And even though they weren't the ones who grew it, and they didn't have the financial means to do that themselves, they still had the physical means to then go in and do that. So if you think of examples in the modern parlance, people who have food insecurity, people who are then able to have a card and go shopping for themselves, right? Or they have the food provided for them, but they're able to then make their own meals. Things like that, the preservation of dignity is so important, not just for the poor, but for everybody, right? So we recognize that that level of humanity is within all of us. And these are the themes that I wanted to highlight today.